Welcome to the Daily for Tuesday, June 11th with Simon Borg. I'm Jason Seguini. First topic today has to be the U.S. national team's World Cup Qualifier against Panama. You can see that tonight on ESPN and Unimas at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And Simon, yesterday a lot of the talk was about the field factor, if you will. A little bumpy over the weekend from what we heard, and now people are saying, some guys are saying, oh, it's fine, we're going to play on it. Other guys are saying, I don't know if this is great for us, the U.S. team. Is it an advantage to Panama if they play on a bumpy field?
If in fact it is bumpy, Jason, clearly it favors Panama, and it hurts the team who's pushing the game. And in this case, it's got to be the U.S. But Jurgen Klinsmann and Clint Dempsey, in a press conference that was held yesterday, they basically dismissed any concerns about the field. They said it looks good, so that as an excuse is out the window. Now, if it proves true that it does impact the game, a lot of people will be questioning, why would the U.S. play a game on a temporary surface? Now, for me, that surface in that game against Seattle-Vancouver looked great. It's the best temporary field surface I've ever seen laid in the United States. So we'll see if it does have an impact.
All right, there's another game that's going to have an impact on U.S. World Cup qualifying tonight, and that's taking place in Mexico as Costa Rica heads there. These are the two teams that the U.S. is tied with on points in the group.
And a lot of people, Jason, think Costa Rica have had the most consistent qualifying campaign of all the teams in the running. And they are the last team to beat Mexico in a qualifier in Mexico, the famous Aztecaso. And Mexico right now, they're going through a little bit of a spell where they're not finding goals easily. I think they put Denigris up top again with Chicharito, and they resolve that. And I think they win at home.
All right, you can check out MLSsoccer.com for reporting on both matches. On Monday, voting began for the 2013 MLS All-Star Game. If you haven't been to MLSsoccer.com yet to cast your votes, don't forget to do that. And Simon, when the voting comes out, that's when fans start clamoring. Why isn't this guy on the ballot? Why isn't that guy on the ballot? Here's a quick explanation of how the guys got on the ballot in the first place. Basically, media votes for each team. They vote for the top 6 players. 1 goalkeeper, 1 defender, 1 midfielder, 1 forward, and then 2 extra players to be included on that ballot. So, of course, when you look at it, and in the end, there are some guys that are left off, and now we're talking all-star snubs, the guys who didn't make it on to the fan ballot. Now, remember this, they can still make the all-star game by being added by head coach Peter Vermees or the commissioner, one of the commissioner's picks. But Simon, let's get to it. Who are the all-star snubs in your mind?
For me, number 1, Obafemi Martins, the Seattle Sounders DP. He deserves to be in this game. He's that kind of quality player, and I think he may have been hurt by the fact that he arrived MLS later in the season. Then Dallas, the 2 central defenders, George John and Matt Hedges, have been, for me, 2 of their most valuable players this year. I think they deserve to be in the All-Star game ahead of some other guys that were picked from FC Dallas. And then lastly, to me, Alessandro Nesta. I hope Peter Vermees or the MLS commissioner find a way to get him in this game. He's an ex-Lazio player, and people who have the romance of Italian soccer in them, this guy needs to start against Roma.
This is the guy who has that romance. A couple other guys that were mentioned a lot by the fans. Rodney Wallace having a fantastic season for the Portland Timbers under Caleb Porter. And Corey Ash, recently called up to the U.S. national team. Of course, he missed out because of an injury, but another great player having a good season for the Houston Dynamo. Remember, log on to MLSsoccer.com and you can vote for the AT&T MLS All-Stars. Well, it's Tuesday, so it's time to update the Castrol Index. Maybe taking a look at this list will help you with your all-star voting. At number 1 on the list, Bill Hamid, goalkeeper from DC United, put in a great performance to get the point on the road at New England this weekend.
Jason, a goal scorer at number 2. It's Camilo from Vancouver, scored 2 goals in that loss in Seattle. At 3, Zach McMath, the goalkeeper from Philadelphia. Now at 4, Lamar Nagel, having a great season for Seattle. And coming up at 5, Olmes Garcia, the 20-year-old Colombian, wins the game for Real Salt Lake with a brace towards the end.
All right, you can see the full list on MLSsoccer.com, and there's plenty more to catch on MLSsoccer.com on Tuesday, Simon, including Extra Time Radio. Yesterday, you guys had Jeff Carlisle on talking about the San Jose firing of Frank Gallup.
Yeah, that news kind of flew under the radar on Friday because of the World Cup qualifier, but Carlisle revisits it. He's from Northern California. He's based out there. He knows that club and that scene very well. He had some interesting comments about possible successor and about potentially what caused the rift between Gallup and the Earthquakes.
All right, you can see where the Earthquakes stand on the power rankings as they come out on Tuesday as well. Don't miss that. And, of course, instant replay, Simon's take on all the controversy.
Hands off Camilo. Hands off Camilo.
All right, that's all we have on the Daily today. We'll be back with plenty more tomorrow, though.